Hey guys, welcome back to Believe in Eagles. It is NFL Week 17, and I am your host, Leigh Mayock, and I am so sorry to disappoint you. It's just me today. I'm sorry. My dad got so sick Christmas Eve night. I mean, not only did it ruin Christmas, it's kind of ruining the pod this week, especially because people might only be tuning in right now since my dad, Mike, was recently nominated for the illustrious Antonio Brown Cracker of the Year Award. Huge nomination. That's probably why a lot of you are even tuning in to see how he's taking that. Check in and see our campaigning efforts. But I'm sorry to say, the man is sick. He tried to be here, but he's down for the count. So it's just you and me here today. And we haven't done this in a long time. We haven't done this since the beginning. So let's try to make it fun. As always, we'll start with a little fun. This show is brought to you by betonline.com. Head to BetOnline today and use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus. It's the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. I led you astray again last week, and I did something that I decided I will never do again. Wagering on an anytime touchdown. At first glance, to me, it seemed like a no-brainer. And if you were with us last week, you know what I'm talking about. It was the Trey McBride anytime touchdown, and he has yet to score a touchdown all season, and he has 1 million yards. I thought that was a no-brainer. And Kyler Murray last week to the media was like, "I'm going to get that man the ball in the end zone." So I was like, okay, anytime score, done, cool, easy money. Anytime touchdown scores are not easy money. They are, in fact, a torture chamber from hell. So you don't realize it when you're just like betting off the cuff. Like, I'm sure, yeah, he'll definitely score. There are so many things that go into an anytime touchdown score. So many variables. You have to depend on so many different people, so many different facets of the game. And I did not take that into account. And anytime touchdown scores are something I will never touch again. Not with a 10-foot pole. Okay. There was another one I cared about. It was a CeeDee Lamb anytime touchdown score. And I thought that was a slam dunk. And then what happens? The man basically sits out the whole second half. Also not something I really thought about. It's just a lot rides on. All that to say, go to betonline.com. Use our BELIEVE, BLEAV promo code for your first bet. But I am begging you not to put it on an anytime touchdown. Not ever again in my entire life will I do that. I won't. You know what? I got beginner's luck last year. I did a McCole Hardman anytime touchdown score just because I really get loose with the gambling on the Super Bowl game. Like I've said this before. I will do, if there's a fun prop bet, I'll do it. And then with the actual X's and O's football statistical part, I just go, oh, yeah, sounds good. Like the vibe. I like the McCole Hardman vibe. That actually won for me. So I got a false sense of what an anytime touchdown bet really means, what all goes into it. Never doing that again. And I keep having to remind myself the actual torture that it was waiting for that anytime touchdown, for both of those anytime touchdowns, because a lot of me going into week 17 now wants to put money on a Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown score because it seems like a no-brainer. And the odds aren't even that good. It just seems like, okay, you can make money from this because you know he's going to score. Especially considering now it is Friday afternoon and it's looking like Jalen Hurts will be out and Kenny Pickett will be the quarterback this week against the Cowboys on Sunday at the Link. The boys will be in Kelly Green. Vibes will be high. The Eagles really just need to win this one so that they can clinch the NFC East and rest the starters week 18, which clearly is seems like a pretty necessary situation right now. But I have to keep reminding myself how much I hated dealing with and sitting with that anytime touchdown bet. So I'm not even going to suggest the Saquon Barkley one. I really want to do it. I do. I'm telling you, I really want to do it. But I'm not. And I don't suggest you do unless you are a little bit of a masochist. Some of you probably are. Some of you definitely are. But yeah, I'm gonna go a different route with my bets this week. But yeah, I mean, go for the Saquon one if you get. You know what? Can I live through you? Can you do the Saquon anytime bet? Tell me how it goes. I'll live through you. I'll be happy for all of you guys when I see him score. Hopefully multiple times this weekend, right? Okay, so I mentioned I mentioned my dad's award nomination at the top for Antonio Brown's Cracker of the Year award. This just came about. I'll tell you everything I know about it, which is not much. I was at home on Christmas back at my apartment, and I just finished watching the second game. And my cousin texted me, my cousin Angus, and he's very cool. He's in his 20s, very cool. So he doesn't text me a lot because why would he? He's very cool. So I was just figuring, I had seen him on Christmas Eve, so I'm figuring he's sending me maybe a picture someone took or a funny meme about something we talked about that night. I open my phone and it's a screenshot of Antonio Brown's Cracker of the Year award nominees. And when I tell you, this was not on my bingo card ever in life, okay? Especially not in the year 2024. And let me explain that, okay? I'll put that up on the screen if I figure out how, but I'm just going to read this to you, okay? So this was on this was dropped on Christmas night, okay? From Antonio Brown's official Twitter, okay? The Cracker of the Year award with a little trophy. Nominees. Now, the nominees, their names are written, and then he actually adds them, on Twitter or X, whatever. Nominees. I can't wait to see this. Elon Musk at Elon Musk. Donald Trump at Real Donald Trump. Shane Gillis at Shane M. Gillis. Donald Trump Jr. at Donald J. Trump Jr. Dave Portnoy at Stool Presidente. Zach Bryan at Zach Lane Bryan. Wait for it. Drum roll, please. Mike Mayock at Raiders. And then also Joe Biden, and then it just says blocked. I guess maybe Joe Biden blocked him and he couldn't add him. I don't know. Okay, so here's my first question. Why in 2024, why would you nominate Mike Mayock and then put at Raiders? And I know that's really not the biggest question here. I'm burying the lead of this Cracker Award in general, but I'm telling you what stuck out to me first. Mike Mayock at Raiders for Cracker of the Year award in 2024. I honestly, when I think about it, I think that Antonio Brown might think that my dad is still the GM of the Raiders this year. That's all I can get, because he could have added, he could have done at Mike Mayock. You guys know, he has a Twitter. He doesn't use it, but it exists. So in his mind, is my dad still the GM of the Raiders? And if that were true, I would understand this a little bit more, because the Raiders are trash right now. And I say that with love. Raider Nation, I love you for life. The organization is trash right now. And I hope you get the draft picks that you want. That's the only silver lining of your record right now. But for Antonio Brown to nominate my dad this year and at the Raiders, I have to think that he still thinks that my dad is still the general manager of the Las Vegas Raiders. My dad was fired in the year 2021, January of 2021, I think. It's right around my birthday. Like, great times. This just doesn't make any sense to me. That's all I can think of. But then let's get into the broader aspect of this award. The only real thread that I see, like one of these things does not belong, right? My dad is a glaring, like, black sheep of this award. Like, I don't understand. The only thread uniting these people in this award is that I think they're all old and white. I think that's all it is. That's all I can come up with. And I'm not even sure, is Zach Bryan old? I don't think he's that old. So maybe there goes that. So they're just all white people. That does make sense for a cracker, right? But I just don't understand. I want to say I would love to know why he was nominated, but I also am petrified to actually find out. I don't know if I really, really, really want to know that thought process behind this nomination. And I'm so sorry that my dad is not here to experience this with us, maybe say a couple words, but I will show you, and I'll put it on the screen after if I can too. I did my work as a journalist for you guys because I know you were expecting him here today. And I texted him this morning when after he said he couldn't make it to the pod because he's sick. I feel so bad. Christmas really was ruined. But so I said, do you have any comment on being nominated for Antonio Brown's Cracker of the Year award? And he just wrote back, no. And if you know him, you know that was on brand. So no comment from Leigh Mayock on the Antonio Brown Cracker of the Year nomination award. I just want to know. I want to know what were the qualifications to be nominated for this illustrious award. I would love to know because there are also other awards that he's doing too. It's like funniest cracker of the year, influencer cracker of the year. And so like that, those adjectives really help me understand what those people are being nominated for. But when it's just cracker of the year and he's up there with Donald Trump and son and Elon Musk and Joe Biden, Dave Portnoy, like what is happening? It's probably best we don't know. I'm just going to keep going back to that. I think it's best we don't know. We're going to leave it at that. If you want to vote for my dad for Cracker of the Year award, do your thing. Every vote matters. Would love to bring home that trophy. Yeah. Okay, so now that that's taken care of, honestly, apparently the Cracker of the Year awards take place tonight, Friday night, and then I'm hoping that I never have to hear about this or discuss this ever again. I'm honest, I'm a little scared. But anyway, so that's taken care of. Let's get into the Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles take on the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday at the Link. We're most likely without Jalen Hurts, who is in concussion protocol. And it'll be Kenny Pickett on deck. I feel a lot better about Kenny Pickett this week after a week of practice than I did last week when he was just thrown in after Jalen went out with a concussion. I think Kenny Pickett is very well suited for Kellen Moore's usual offense. Obviously, like, this is not ideal, but if the Eagles can just take care of business, handle the Cowboys, get the win, they can rest most of their starters week 18, be refreshed and ready to go with that number 2 seed in the playoffs. So you know what? I also watched. So here's what I'm saying. I don't think the Cowboys will be a problem. I know that divisional games are divisional games, and anybody can beat anybody. But I watched Cooper Rush last weekend destroy Baker Mayfield and the Bears. And the Buccaneers. And he is not going to be able to do that against Vic Fangio's Philadelphia Eagles defense without CeeDee Lamb and with no established run game. It's just not going to happen. I have way too much faith in the Eagles defense for that even to really be a question in my mind. And so I think that defense this weekend will take care of whatever lack is going on in the offense or whatever, growing pains are going on in our offense with a backup quarterback and Kenny Pickett. But there are enough weapons. This game should not be a problem. And if it is, that's a bigger problem that we should be discussing in general, because there are so many weapons on this Eagles offense and defense. So just because Jalen Hurts is out, obviously that's a huge deal. But with this roster, it should be fine. It should be absolutely fine. Kenny Pickett has so many weapons at his disposal. Obviously, Saquon's our beast, but Kenny Pickett will be throwing to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. They'll have a lot of looks, a lot of targets. I don't know if – I think obviously A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith will have a lot more targets, I think, than they usually do with Jalen. But the targets might not be as on target as they would be with Jalen. But this team is just it has way too much depth and is not going to let what happened with Washington happen again against the Cowboys this weekend. It's just not going to happen. I'm not worried about it. I'm trying to think about what bets I want to put on it, but I don't think I want any Eagles bets this weekend. All I'm asking, I'm not going to be greedy. All I want is for this team to get a win. I don't care how ugly it is. We actually probably might be relying a lot on Jake Elliott. And Jake, I want you to go in that game with confidence. We've got your back. The city loves you. We know you got this. So if you need to put us on your shoulders and just that's how we're scoring this weekend, so be it. We know you got us. And we'll take the win that way. We just need the win. Just give us the win. I don't want anyone else to get hurt. I want us to rest the starters week 18, and then that's that. And actually, I feel good about it. I honestly do. I feel like if my dad were here, he would poke holes in a lot of that. But I'm not in the mood for that. I'm not in the mood for that negativity. And I just think Kenny Pickett is well suited with Kellen Moore's offense, and there's weapons all around him. And really, we should not be worried about the Cowboys defense. No, we're good. You guys, we're good. We're good. It doesn't seem like I'm talking myself out of being worried for this. If it does, I don't actually really mean it to, because I am really confident about this game. But I said the same thing about Washington. So really, it should be a no-brainer. Eagles should get a win. A win's a win. We're going to get it. And we'll be riding high into week 18. That's how I feel about it. Oh, and we're wearing Kelly Green too. So, the vibes are high, right? It's actually concerning how easy it is for me to ramble on. I'm sure it's not easy to listen to, but just thank you guys for being here. I decided so I told my dad got sick Christmas Eve, right? I was hoping he'd be feeling better. But he's not even remotely feeling better. I feel really bad. Christmas was ruined and the podcast was ruined. But all of that to say, in case my dad wasn't feeling up to it, I took to social media and I asked you guys for some questions, some Ask Me Anythings. Most of those ended up being all about the Antonio Brown Cracker Awards. But I got a couple I got a couple that I wanted to just go over with you. And you know what? Some are like super about football, whatever, and normal. I would use those with my dad. And then a couple of them are ones I want to take advantage of him not being here so we can like talk about things that aren't just like so much X's and O's. Oh my gosh. Like let's stay well-rounded here, you know? Like life isn't all football. Kind of is, though. Recently it has been. There's been so much football on, I have to say. How about was it last Saturday? That was so fun. There were 3 or 4 college playoff games and 2 NFL games. And mind you, the college games were pretty bad because just with the way the seeding system went, like they were pretty much blowouts. Not mad about it. Like we are Penn State. But just to have all that football on a Saturday and then still have that much on a Sunday, I couldn't even get over it. To me, that was so fun. And I'm not exactly like my dad, if you haven't noticed. I don't need football around 24/7. Like I like to talk about like a lot of other things. I like to go out, touch grass, like not just sit in a cave and watch tape. So I don't really need football all the time, but that was such a fun day. I couldn't even get over it. I'm really looking forward to the college football playoffs. Which actually leads me into one of the questions. I was asked, what did I think about the Netflix Christmas games? And I'm actually surprised at my own answer. I was not that hype about it. I was like, okay, there's NBA already. We don't really need Christmas games too. We've had endless football the entire week. Coming off of that weekend I just told you about that I loved so much, right? I was obviously excited about Beyonce. And then our Christmas was like a little different because my dad was sick. Like he couldn't even come down for Christmas morning. So I ended up just going back home to my apartment by myself. And it was so nice to have Christmas games on. The games were fun to watch. I was shocked at Netflix's production value because I had watched that fight, the Mike Tyson fight, where it was buffering the whole time and we saw Mike Tyson's butt and like it was just not what I was expecting. It looked like I was worried. I was worried for the NFL. I was worried for Beyonce. The production value had to go up so high since that fight, and I was pleasantly surprised. It looked like it went off without a hitch. I thought the graphics were good. I thought all the camera angles were good. And I actually really enjoyed having football to watch and something to do on Christmas when, you know, my other plans were kind of ruined. But, also Beyonce was insane. Beyonce was insane. And I think she just set a new standard for NFL Super Bowls. Right? And like, I've been to numerous Super Bowls. I've seen the Super Bowl halftime show in person a million times. I've seen it on TV a million times. I was blown away by Beyonce's performance. It was like a concert. It wasn't just a performance. It was a concert. And Blue Ivy came out. It was so fun. I loved it. I don't have one bad thing to say about it. I was so impressed. And I really think she just upped the game for the next NFL Super Bowl halftime performers. Granted, I do think she got more time for this past weekend on Christmas than Super Bowl halftime performers usually get. So that probably plays into it. But man, it was so impressive. It was so impressive. I was sad. It was amazing. I loved it. So all that to say, I hope you guys had a great Christmas too. And I am now pro NFL games on Christmas. I could have used I'm on the East Coast right now, so I could have used a third game, a night game. Would have loved it. Actually, look at this. I can't believe it. I'm just setting myself up for such success right now. Another question I had, Are you watching any good TV series lately? This is one that I would not have been able to talk about with my dad because he would not care. He would just stare blankly at me and wait for me to ask him something about an A gap. But yes, I have been watching good TV series lately. You guys, if you haven't been watching Lioness, it's on Paramount Plus, and it might be I'm putting that in my nominations for show of the year. Okay. It's award season. I'll put that up there. I think it was nominated for something actually. Or Zoe Saldana, she's the main character in it. She was nominated for something. Whatever. It's just look it up. It's fantastic. And that's my favorite thing that I've watched lately. There's 2 seasons of it too, so you can binge. It's very fun. And then I'm a Real Housewives of Everywhere watcher, so that's just always in my rotation, so that keeps me going. I'm also very big into Southern Charm this season. That's on Bravo. It's about a group of friends in Charleston. Also reality, not everyone's cup of tea, but if you like thriller, like a TV series, like a scripted series, Lioness, Paramount Plus. No notes. You know what I do have notes for though? That movie on Netflix called Carry On. It was so dumb, but I watched the whole thing. It's been on number one. It's been number one on Netflix for like a week now for their movies. It's like it's like semi-holiday action thriller, completely unrealistic. A lot of holes in the plot. But it was like a, the gaper delay, the car crash. Like I couldn't stop watching. I watched the whole thing. Jason Bateman's in it. If you want like a stupid good show, kind of like not a show, it's a movie. I watched it. It was ridiculous, but I was entertained. And sometimes that's all you need. Okay, what else? What else did you guys ask? NFL MVP. Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. This is tough. Don't you guys think this one's tough? So I've been riding high on the Josh Allen train, right? And then the last 2 weeks, I've watched Lamar Jackson look like Superman. And it's like anytime I watch Josh Allen, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely MVP this year. And then I watch Lamar Jackson and I'm like, oh, nope, he's MVP. But then I found out the distinction between MVP and like offensive player of the year. And it's really important to note that MVP is like most valuable player. So this is how I think of it. If you took Josh Allen away from the Bills, would they have won any games this season? Versus if you took Lamar Jackson away from the Ravens, would they have really won any games this season? I think because the Ravens have so many other weapons, I think most valuable would have to be Josh right now. But I'm not done. I'm still deliberating. That's where my head's at right now. But it's neck and neck. Can there be two? There were co-MVPs one year, weren't there? But then it's like, okay, then maybe will it just come down to wins if it's that close? Do the wins even matter? Wins always matter to me in those. I know they're individual accolades, but like I think in a team sport, you can't discount wins. And I actually think I weight them pretty heavy. So I don't know. It's such an interesting conversation to have. And I think it's a really fun conversation to have. But I think it's just, everyone's answer is based on what they feel most valuable means. Because like in the statistical category right now, Lamar Jackson's in the lead. Wins, Josh Allen's in the lead. But then it's like doing more with less. Do we care about that? Isn't that what it most valuable is about? I don't know. I could talk about that for a while, and I will have a way more interesting conversation next week with my dad about it. So I'm not just talking to myself about it. And I really appreciate it if you guys are still here. And I'm really sorry that he's not. But thanks for hanging out with me. Okay, one more. Thoughts on Eric Dickerson's comment Saquon Barkley breaking his rushing record. Okay. Oh. So I wanted to read what he said. He said, Okay, and this could be taken out of context. I haven't read the entire thing, so I'm just going based off like what I saw on Twitter. Um, and Eric Dickerson said, "I don't think he'll break it. If he breaks it, he breaks it. Do I want him to break it? Absolutely not." Okay, so that's what he said, Eric Dickerson. I kind of get it because he's just a competitor, right? Some people are just straight up competitors at heart. So thinking that any of their records being broken is probably not something they want to hear about. However, he could have said it better. Like, I'm really happy for him. I'm like happy to pass the torch to the next best generation of like GOAT backs. Like that would be I think he may have just said it badly. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's just a competitor, and two things can be true. The competitor in him cannot want anyone to beat his record, because why would you? But the compassionate, like retired player, human version of it, he can still be happy for this next generation, specifically Saquon Barkley, who is just phenomenal. I mean, again, GOAT status. I think I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that that's what he was going for. He's happy for Saquon if he beats it, but he doesn't want anyone to beat it in general. And I think that's very like Michael Jordan of him, and that's fine. Like boomers are going to be boomers, and I don't want to take him out of context, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Okay. And I implore you to give me the benefit of the doubt today, or whenever you're listening or watching this. I'm sorry for talking your ear off. I am sorry for rambling. I am so good at rambling. It's scary. And that is why I should never do this ever again without a guest. I was thinking about getting a guest when my dad really said he couldn't, like final, he couldn't join me today. But then I was like, it's a holiday. I don't want to annoy anyone. So that was kind of my thought process. And I hadn't really talked to you guys like one-on-one in a while. And I do love that too. But I just need to, say less. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. We will be back next week with a lot more interesting things and interesting people. And I'll do less. Love you guys. Happy holidays.